just mentioned the name of Senator President Johnson, which brings to the fore my next question. It is being alleged, or at least it is being rumored, that you visited his base along with a delegation of IGNU at the time of the interim government of national unity, and you had quite an experience at one of your visits there. And if I may, rumors has it that during one of your visits, Mr. Johnson brought out the head, a skeleton head, a skull, which was supposedly the skull of the late President Samuel Doe. Would you like to comment?
Now we said we have to balance between the truth and reconciliation. I heard the other day that there was a meeting. Between the family of Mr. Doe and Mr. Johnson, and there was some hobnobbing. Madam Commissioner, maybe I should say, and I heard someone on the radio this morning, I think we would do well to spare our president this type of activity, because this is precisely how people rally their ethnic groups when they singularly have committed an offense. I think if you commit an offense, whether you Kran, Dio, Mano, whatever you are, Grebo, Muslim, Christian, you answer for yourself. Don't bring your tribal people behind you. Don't bring your religious leaders behind you, and answer for yourself. Because as soon as we begin to see a thing done by a crown man and say we bring crown people and accuse them or make them to feel they have to answer for it, I think something is wrong. There will be something wrong if Doe family felt that, this is because Doe was a crown man, so everything about Doe they have to come up to defend it and stuff. Then they're making a sad mistake. That's not reconciliation. I think reconciliation is based on justice. To come to your question, I am curious, and I'm sure if we remind Mr. Johnson, if it is so important for the process as to how Doe was buried or where he was buried, and we have to do a reburial to bring it to closure, then maybe Mr. Johnson needs to come again and tell a story. What happened? Because unless what happened, what I experienced with him was not the truth. I had gone to carry messages as I did that Dr. Sawyer wanted to step down. Dr. Sawyer didn't want to be president again, but the ECOWAS, the peace plan required that people should disarm to follow the ceasefire. We needed to disarm. And if they were ready to disarm, and the letter was written to Mr. Johnson, as the letter was written to Mr. Taylor, those were the two armed groups that were existing at the time. I went there with a gentleman called Brunel Swen, who was an assistant, worked with me as an assistant. I think he's in this hall. There was another gentleman, there was Mrs. Luvian Ash Thompson. She and I were the committee that was going from Taylor to Prince Johnson base and going from place to place. And I recall that when we got there, having gone through all the discussion, the purpose of our visit, and Prince came down about what he had to say about Bacchus Matthews and Sawyer, and that Sawyer organized this black parade to kill him and this, that, and praised me as being a nice guy, good friend, and today we are still good friends. Said all the nice things. I recall that Mr. Johnson then said to me, look, Conmany, the Doe man wanted to kill you. I finished with him. I said, yeah, I heard it. yes, I believe it. And he said, no, you look, Musu, some girl was there, some woman, Musu or Bindu or one of those Bani. He said, go and bring the man here. And he came, the woman came with a skull on a platter. And he said, that the man here there. I said, okay, that's fine. He said, no, you scared, it can't do nothing, the man die. But that's what happened. So I am very curious as to what then happened to the other part of the body. Was it the time that it was cremated, or was it buried? That's why which of the body that was given this 25-year embalming. If the body was embalmed on the spot the first time around, I think it's good to say so. If we were cremated, say so. But the story about, this person, I think, again, maybe one forgot. But at least Mrs. and two of our teachers, I'm sure, I don't know their name, but there were two teachers who were with Mrs. Vivian Thompson. They were there in the room when this thing happened. So I'm sure many of them heard the story. My thing is that if the objective, again, I come back to objective, if the objective is to put to closure all of our people who've been killed in ways that we need to remember our leaders, then maybe we should come together again and tell the truth. Maybe we can find whatever happened to those bones and say, all right, we're bringing the matter to closure and have a proper burial. Or go to and where Tolbert was buried and probably see, or where Wesseh was buried and probably find out. But it has to be a national decision. It cannot be left to the Doe family or Johnson family and they go shake hands and tomorrow something gets in somebody's head again, they say something, then you say Crown people are affected and this, let's bring them together. I think we must not waste our time and resources on that type of reconciliation. It would not work because anybody can go and steal. You remember those days when somebody go and steal, they say that Baza man, then all the Baza people in the community start feeling guilty. And I know some of the most honest people in the world are Bazas. So we must get away from it. If it is John Brown who must account for his deeds, let him alone. And nobody should go to the accountant or think coming to this TRC and bring the chiefs and the elders and think to come to clap for them. It is wrong. You coming for yourself. Account for your own actions.